Hi guys, and welcome to Off the Cuff, we'll call it that. This is the fifth time I've tried to record this, having a few technical issues. Hopefully it resolves itself before I decide to end. Anyway, um, so just a quick one. Thought I would go through the way that LGBTQ seems to be having such an effect on our institutions and why. You know, we recently saw a very large choir in America come out and, whether it was a joke or not, say, yes, we are trying to convert your children and things like that. Probably not a good idea because I feel it will end in violence, but who knows. But in this country, we're certainly seeing it have a big effect on institutions, schools, the NHS, and so I definitely want to have a look into the NHS side of things today. So these are a couple of recent articles. So the first one is, don't call pregnant patients mothers. I suppose they're not mothers yet, are they? I don't know. Doctors are banned from using the word mother over fears it will upset those who are transgender. Official guidelines issued by the British Medical Association says mothers-to-be should be referred to as pregnant people. I mean, do we really refer to them as much already? I suppose we refer to them as their name. Anyway, the move aims to avoid offending and alienating transgender parents. Can't have that. The advice came in a 14-page booklet, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so the astonishing warning comes in official guidelines issued by the Medical Association to its 160,000 members, which says mothers-to-be should be referred to as pregnant people. The controversial advice to doctors in hospitals and general practice comes just weeks after it emerged that a Briton who was born a girl but is changing to a man put his operation on hold to have a baby. Probably a good idea. You don't want to have the operation halfway through. That's going to end in disaster. So 4 months pregnant Hayden Cross, 20, is legally male and has had more hormone treatment but not sex change surgery. And that is the order it should be done in if you're planning it, just so you know. There are no other known cases of a transitioning person becoming pregnant in the UK, but official figures show 775,000 women give birth in Britain every year. Yeah, I mean, I imagine that figure of 1 is going to go up because, well, I think I've got some figures here. Where are we? I bet I've lost them now. No, I haven't. Yeah, so in 2010, which is probably 3 years maybe, before it became fashionable to be LGBTQIA PP+1 and 2 people a month were being referred to the Gender Identity Development Service in 2010. And then, I don't even have one up to date, but it was going up by about a third every year between 2014 and 2018. In 2018, it was 50 kids. 50 kids. Jeez, 50 kids a week. 50 kids a week were being referred to the Gender Identity Development Service. So this is not including kids that I know at my child's school that declare themselves as transgender or polygender. These are kids that are actually being referred to this service. So it was 2 a month. It's 3 years ago, it was 50 a week. So yeah, it's massively increasing. So I'm pretty sure we're going to see figures like that going up. Okay. And the next article is from the BBC. I won't go there. Brighton NHS Trust introduces new trans-friendly terms. An NHS Trust is to use gender-inclusive language for its maternity services, including terms such as chest feeding and birthing parent. Right. Brighton and Sussex University Hospitals Trust is thought to be the first in the UK to adopt the language in its internal communications and meetings. The Trust said it recognised challenges gender identities can have on pregnancy, birth and feeding, but a campaigner said it was trying to control the language of others. The language changes would not apply when caring for individuals in a one-on-one setting. The language changes would not apply. Right, okay, so if they're just having a meeting, or if they're in a group, then why bother? Like, why not just... I mean, I suppose it's to See, this is like the problem, isn't it? Like, I guess actually that this is more just to kind of make it straightforward for the doctor. So, they probably think like, I don't care like who the person that's got a beard but also breasts and gave birth is. Like, I need to know who is feeding, like who is the person with the uterus. They need to know what they're dealing with. So, fair enough, I guess. Maybe it's just to straighten it out for them. Because yeah, I think it would kind of be a bit odd to start using such harsh language on non-LGBTQIAPP plus one people. Yeah. Okay. Next one. Reducing cervical screening inequalities for trans people. And that is a major issue, cervical screening inequalities. Right, so this is from someone's perspective. All the other patients would be looking at me and asking each other, why is he sitting there? Greg is explaining why he has not yet responded to his cervical screening recall letter. I worry the waiting room could be full of women and I would feel out of place. Also, I'm worried that the nurse would ask, awkward questions. I get it, I do. I mean, like, if we're living in their world, thinking about this, I understand that, it's going to be an awkward situation. Like, if there's a room full of women and you walk in there as a woman or as an ex-woman, let's say, and you are now, like, appearing like a bloke and you're like, I need you to inspect my private parts. That could be awkward. But, we've always had, I'm pretty sure almost everywhere in the world has the whole medical privacy thing. So, they're going to be chill. They're going to be quiet. I'm talking about the medical professionals. Yeah, they don't come out and go, Billy Smith, erectile dysfunction, please. Erectile dysfunction. Nobody does that. They're not going to do it there. I'm sure there's a way of doing it that doesn't involve the BBC and, various politicians. But, I guess I can understand them to a degree. The next one is about Stonewall. So Stonewall is the biggest LGBTQIA++ plus one charity in the world / Europe. It's definitely the biggest in Europe. Based in London, receives funding from a wide variety of extremely wealthy and bizarre individuals. They're kind of in the news at the moment because they're like almost military-esque. Like we've seen them, because obviously we've seen a little bit of a separation in the LGBTQIA+1 community, where you've kind of had the traditional feminists have kind of gone in one direction and they now call them TERFs, and then obviously you've got normal gay and lesbian people. I know people don't like the term normal, but I'm talking about someone that you would never know is gay, but they are, or someone you'd never know is lesbian, but they are. And then, like Douglas Murray said, you then have other people whose entire being is being LGBTQIA people as well. So yes, that is Stonewall. Stonewall is a charity that supports LGBTQIA people. Stonewall has been accused of using a workplace equality scheme to coerce publicly funded organisations and companies to lobby for changes to the law. And this is true. We've already seen this earlier this year. It says here, documents show how the charity seeks to control what NHS trusts, government departments and local councils say on their social media accounts, demanding public support for its controversial views on gender equality in return for points on its top 100 employers index. So basically what they've been doing, and it's come forward in, I think, 3 or 4 different occasions now, it's causing them real problems, thank God, is that they essentially are selling positions on the top 100 LGBTQIAPP+ list in exchange for lobbyists, in exchange for money, for lobbyists to go to the government and say, here's money from Stonewall or from this company. We need you to make these government institutions very obviously pro-LGBTQIAPP+. And so it's basically just corruption. Like, it's just mafioso. I know it gets done with other things, but like, 2 rights don't make a right or something. So yeah, it's disappointing, and I think a lot of people have been asking recently, why is everything so insane? Like, why are the schools like 50% rainbow people, and this is why, because we have very large charities that are essentially paying off different people in the government, and not just the incumbent governors. I'm not just talking about like the conservative, but just government people. It could be heads of the NHS, heads of the health department, etc. So yeah, pretty disappointing. It includes things about their social media, stuff about schools, stuff about hospitals. So whenever you find yourself thinking like, it's so weird, like everybody I know is really pretty much straight down the line. I don't really know anyone that pushes it, LGBTQ stuff all the time. But then it seems to be everywhere. Well, now you know why. Like corruption, they're pushing it. And then this one is kind of linked to that as well. So it's Scottish Government. In its annual applications over the last 4 years, the Scottish Government offered up screenshots of elected ministers' social media activity for Stonewall's approval. Details of every Pride event attended by various Scottish politicians and Nicola Sturgeon, and examples of LGBTQIA champions silencing dissenting colleagues on internal forums as proof of its commitment to equality. I mean, are you kidding me? So, as long as you're an asshole to people in the name of LGBTQIA P+, then apparently that makes you a really good person. I kind of think, stop wobbling, I kind of think we're entering, if not, we've already entered a very dubious time. Like, this stuff is dark. It really is dark. We've got to a point where everybody was chilled about it, and it was like, you do you. Most people, 95% of people, you do you. As long as you're, as long as you're happy, all good. Let's all be happy. And now we've kind of got to this point where it's like everybody has to be this certain way, and if you're not, you're the enemy. And we're going to pay people off. We're going to, manipulate institutions. And so, yeah, it's definitely happening. And it's something we spoke about last night, actually, on the long form Gen Y. So, yes. In fact, Stonewall are so allegedly corrupt that a lot of these employers have actually been leaving them because they just can't keep up with the payments. It's like a sort of mafioso boss, and you just get to the point where you're like, rank me wherever in your list. I can't afford it anymore. So yeah, that's interesting. So there's some good news for you for today. I'm not sure if you found that at all interesting or if it was just complex and frustrating, but thanks for listening to me rant. And yeah, we'll see you tomorrow for another one. Bye.
Winston stopped writing, partly because he was suffering from cramp. He did not know what had made him pour out this stream of rubbish